Hello, how's everybody doing? Well, I didn't do the music video yet, and I explained that I'm going to do it at 6 o'clock because I can't go into the studio yesterday because it was closed. I was surprised and shocked. But now we still have something to do for now before I go into the music video. Before I do that, we're talking about over and over. I'm tearing down over and over again. You know what I do when I tear down over and over again? When I tear down flash art. So here we are, like I get so used to, it's really beautiful because I get used to seeing this and it's really enlightening. It really helps you out visually and everything, conceptually. I think that people should have in their house or in their apartment a section where they do this flash art because it really helps you out a lot in everything. I can't explain. I'm going to do maybe a section on it. But now we're tearing it down. And what did I learn as far as the flash art is concerned? Well, I learned that okay, remember when we were saying that, and I put everybody together like we're doing this together, so I hope you understand that. Because I couldn't do it without you. You're giving me the energy. It's really hard to explain. But anyway, we're coming up with this flash art and how to do it exactly. And the things I learned, because remember when we were talking about you have to have rules. When we do a flash art, when I do a subject, it has to be rules. And it's funny because when I got to the Law and Order, which was a special one, I had to follow, I used the rules of physics. Very basic rules of physics. Like if you have something and it drops, okay? We don't get into technicalities. What we do here is we state what's happening now, okay? Because a lot of times you can have rules and regulations and you can put them in the law books and everything else, but how things change, even the physics of the earth and the physics of the way people do things always change. So if we say these physics of now, of what's going on right now, okay? Because before I couldn't do a flash art, it wasn't really created, but because of YouTube, I can form this art called flash art. So and the thing about it is, it interprets the physical laws in a different way. We see them in a more artistic way. So that's why I want to say, okay, now I'm dealing with this. This happens when this happens. And it's kind of like a review and a refresher, and you learn more things. So what am I going to do? I have to just take them down. I remember Law and Order. This is kind of attached to Law and Order because Law and Order taught me that I use the laws, like we said, of things that actually happen when I put things on the wall and the way I put them on the wall. So they make the rules. And it kind of happened for this also, which is kind of shaping this flash art into a different direction. Although I still know from the beginning that there has to be rules, but only it changed to where I'm not making up the rules, I'm following the rules of physics. So that's something to think about. So now tearing it down, I remember when we tore down Law and Order, which was an emotional breakdown. And I even made a section on emotional breakdown and a music on emotional breakdown when I was tearing down Law and Order, because it was very difficult and tedious, but I made it through because of my experience. So how are we going to tear this down? Should I tear it down? I explain to you what I learned from it first. Well, I learned that I am continually, it's going on. I am continually, following now. I'm in, the laws of physics itself. Okay, And like I said before, we used to say, okay, this has to be cut this way. I can only put 2 tapes this way. That's a rule that I made, okay? But now it went into, well, okay, you can make your rules, but there's laws of physics also. And I don't know if I told you this story, but I'm sure I said it in some other light, is when I first started, when I was in New York City, I did a lot of paintings. I have them. I have a friend who has some of them. I hope I could still have them, but you know, the way things change, the way I lived my life, oh, it's hard for me to keep things, which I feel sad for. What was I going to say? Oh, I was working this place in an Irish pub, and they gave me this hallway to do my art, and I wanted to do physical art. You know, there's ways that you can learn physical art. I mean, which I think is really neat. You can learn it by someone. I have a nephew who's very, very good artist. He's a very good artist, and one of the best. I really do think he's a very good artist. I've talked to him sometime. I don't talk to him that much, but I remember one time he asked me, and it was years ago, and he had to make a decision whether he should do, he was going to school, and whether he should take something in school or else take art welding. And I knew he was an artist, and I told him, I said, take art welding. I mean, like, look that's already been, how many years? Oh, it's been so years, and he could have already known it and had that information. But yet in art, you don't really, when you learn art, you do have to know the physical rules and things like that. But there's so many things that people don't realize that's why you can do something in art. There's some kind of message coming in here, which I don't really understand. And I'm sorry for this. Okay. But, I want to decline this. Okay, so we have this art inside of us, and we can learn, and that's why artists, they don't really have to go to a physical school, because if they have the knowledge to put things together, like I said, I was in this hallway they gave me for this art, physical art. I was already a painter, but I wanted to do physical art, meaning sculptures and stuff like that, but it never worked out. Now, I didn't say it didn't work out, but it gave me a lot of more information than I would have if I did go to a regular school, unless, I can't say that, but I hold that information inside me because nothing worked. And now I know why nothing worked, and I know all the things that didn't work. But what I'm saying, it put me in touch with the physical laws and how to work with them. So I stated to you about that, and I stated to you about my nephew, who is a very good artist, and he could have done the physics. I wanted him to do the art. It didn't make any sense because where am I going to make the money or whatever? But sometimes it's not where you're going to make the money. It's going to be how are you going to survive this world? And usually, if you study something in art, you're studying how to survive the world. So I did explain to you about just covering everything that I wanted to explain to you about this art thing. Okay, yeah, so I explained to you about everything. And now we're getting into what I learned here from this. Well, I learned that I knew that this is falling, okay, like falling or going in one direction. So I wanted to look as if it was over, like for instance, like this is one side and it's over, and then over and over and over again. That's kind of like the concept that I had. So I basically just attached it to this, okay? This right here is the medium to where I use for this one to make this shape or make this art fixture, okay? And I pretty much used it so that I could have the effect. I mean, I utilize the fact that it does fall in a certain direction, and I kind of controlled the fall, okay, by putting tape in a different fashion. So what did I learn? I learned that, I guess I had to learn something from it. I guess I can say I learned a little bit about how paper falls, if you want to call it that. I mean, I broke the fall with the tape. And how can I use this over again? I don't think so. I don't know. Maybe I can. But now I'm taking it down. I'm trying to think of other things I've learned. It wasn't rational. It had a rationale that was very complicated. So I had to I kind of like guess and feel out what looked good and what didn't look good. Sort of like in music, when I'm playing the guitar. I mean, in the guitar, there's so many things that can happen, is that you have to constantly figure out, like, not what you're doing, you have to feel things out. And then when you get a certain amount of knowledge or experience with the sound or things that you do, you learn about it and you understand something, which puts you in another door, which puts you in another room. Okay? So now I have experienced a little bit about this falling, okay? And I call it falling. I guess I can say falling, because all these papers are falling and I stopped the fall in certain directions. Yes, it did have a mathematical kind of concept to it, but it wasn't something that I had time to understand or I want to put into a lesson of mine, because I'm shaping something that, as far as it is something new. It's called flashart. So how am I going to learn more about flashart? Well, I'm going to do another project. And I know that this falling has something to do with a lot of things. So I have a little bit of experience with it. So next one, I can tell you what the next one is going to be. And look at all this paper, I don't think I'm going to keep. But I may keep it. Oh, there's another one. There's two things I want to do. One is puzzle and one is light on space. Time and space. I think, but time and space is next. I think I could use this for puzzle. So, but in order to keep this, I have to make sure that I can put it into, that I can put it probably into a bag or in a box or something. It has to be stored in a nice way, okay? Because that's another thing with flash art and all the things that you do. You don't want to have so much clutter to where it affects other things that you're doing. And I am doing a lot of things. So now we're taking this down, and so I guess I can talk about the next one. I know I have two coming up, puzzle, but the first one is going to be time and space. And what I'm going to do for time and space is I'm going to interpret. I have to, when you say time and space, it's a concept. It's in a fantasy concept. Time and space. Everybody, I'm not saying everybody knows what time and space is, but everybody can relate to time and space. But when flash art, you're visual, you're on visual. And then I use the guitar to put emotion, some kind of emotion that I have. Usually it's funny with the guitar that you would think that the emotion sometimes would be so erratic and loud, but emotions really come out really something very pleasant and charming, okay? So that's what it usually turns out to be. So you do get a side of an emotion when I do the guitar piece or the music in the NMR. But now it's time and space. So how can I say we're going to do time and space? Well, I'm going to have... Should I take all this down first? One thing I want to say is I do tear it down, but you learn a lot when I tear things down. A lot of people don't realize it, but you learn a lot. Have you ever heard of a time-lapse camera, I guess? Yes, I got something in my eye, but I'm not going to stop this video. It seems like... well, a lot of the whole concept of my videos of my station is actually a time video lapse. It's like I'm showing you in real time how things change and evolve. Like, for instance, the flash art. You remember from the beginning when I termed it flash art before I turned it into flash art, and you have a lot of art pieces that I did which accumulated to the fact that I'm doing flash art, which were done all last year. So you can see all those videos and how things form. So it's not like a time lapse, it's like a video lapse. I mean, it's like real time lapse, if you can understand what I'm saying. I know some people can understand. Because they listen to all my videos, so they pretty much understand what I'm talking about. And they can relate it and they understand and it helps them. So anyway, I'm taking this down and then I'm going to show you how I'm going to come up with the time and space. And this seems pretty much good for the puzzle because I'm doing a puzzle with this one. And that's the next one after time and space. And you notice I put these like right here, pinned them up against the wall because I didn't want all of them falling. I wanted to like camouflage the fact that all of them were falling in one direction. So I pinned some of them against the wall. Another thing I did was, instead of a border is very important in art. I guess because it tells your eye, this is where I want you to concentrate on. And I use the tape as borders. You notice that. That's another thing I did. So I think it's best when I do these teardowns that you see the whole teardown, because flash art will be very important and you can go through all the videos and become a flash artist. Okay. So anyway, and the color scheme I pretty much used, the color scheme I came up with was because I bought this from Target actually, stack of papers, and all of them were they pretty much was like the colors that went together. All the colors went together in this package. Like, you know, so that helped me out. I did a few colors off the package, which is this one, purple, just to change it up a little bit. And I added these just for a little bit of eye toys or whatever you call it. Just to, you know, play with the eye a little bit. So you see I had these. I pressed these up just to make the frame of it a little bit more interesting. Okay. So anyway, I'm taking these down, making sure everything is all right. Okay. And then I'm going to explain to you about time and space. That's going to be the next one. And it's funny, like I said, time and space I have rules, but now I'm pretty much getting the rules from the laws of physics. Okay? And don't say you know laws of physics. If you're a scientist and you took physics, and that's really nice and everything, well, I'm trying to say this is something new. This is like flashart. So we're making up its own laws of physics. Okay. So I did this. I did this. And I used to tear the rest of it down, like, I used to never, that's another thing I changed. I used to let you not see the whole tear down. But now I let you see the whole tear down because it's, it looks like I messed up this wall over because I don't like that. I have to like fix that. Okay, so now we got all the paper. Oh, we got all the paper. I'm going to keep this for one of the art projects that I have. I mean, the next one of the art animals after this one is going to be called Puzzle, like I said. So I'm putting that over there. And now the only thing I have to do is take these down. Now, I can start talking about the next one now. And the next one is time and space. So when you talk about time and space, the first thing I'm going to explain to you about time and space is that I have to translate it into light. So time, forget about everything that you know and stuff like that. This is for flashart. It's time and space. So that means that interpreting in visual concept, and this has a lot, I did a lot of this in American yoga, dance without music, which has the same concept. I haven't did a dance without music in a long time because I'm on this cycle to where I'm working with, how can I say, I'm working with, there's some things that I have to prepare, and it has to be prepared physically that I'm doing, which it takes a long time. If you know about the dance without music concepts and the American yoga concepts, I'm doing all those concepts, but like I said, the things that I work on, sometimes it takes a year, and we're still on precision as far as dance without music. But I have to, the big deal about this YouTube is that I am the one that goes through the process of doing things, and a lot of times the process takes a long time. And I'm working on this one thing that's very difficult to explain, but I have to understand it. And I told you about understanding. And to understand it, I still don't. It's coming to a close, which is very good, but it still takes its own time, okay? I mean, it's like, everybody, like I said, everybody wants things done as soon as they want things done, but things don't work like that. It really doesn't work like that. I mean, not everything. So now, how are we going to interpret the time and space? So, as I said, these are concepts that we learned in American yoga, dance without music. So how do we interpret time and space? So we have time, which is, could be like, how can I want to say it into forms of light. So if I have space. So I have this. Okay, so let's mention this whole thing. All the things I have to take down. That's this space that I'm using to take all of this down. It goes from all these tapes. The space that it takes up, that could be visual space. So that's physical space, okay? It could get complicated, but I'm keeping it, how can I say? There's a term that I always use, isolate. I'm isolating it or controlling so that I can prepare it and so that you can understand. So I'm not saying, because I'm using space to get this, I'm using my space, and this is from American Yoga too, but I'm keeping it simple, and we're just talking about flash art. And now I'm just talking about the space on the wall. And the space on the wall is pretty much, for mathematics, just a plane. So I'm working with a plane, okay? And now if you see, since I've been doing this flash art for a long time, now I'm able more to utilize my mathematical skills. Before, when we first started flash art, I'm in one space and I have to prepare for this and create this flash art. So I couldn't go to different levels of my mind to find out what this means or what that means or what that means. I'm listening, but the more comfort and the more structural that this flash art becomes, the more I can utilize other things that I know. Okay? So anyway, so now this is the plane. Okay? So the space of this plane, that's the space that I'm going to use in time and space. Okay? It won't be this, but I'm just telling you it's going to be like this. So this is going to be an increment of the space is the time. So here's an increment of space. And this is for flash art, this next project. It doesn't relate to anything but this next flash art I'm doing, okay? So we have all this space, and I find this space right here, which I'm going to call time. So time is a place, okay? So we're going to go, and then I'm going to take time, and I'm going to go to the next place, okay? And that's why I'm going to do this in increments. I'm going to another place, okay? I'm going to another place. From here, I'm in this place, and I'm taking this off in this place. And I'm going to do the whole thing like that. Okay, so I'm going to let you see. So I'm not going to cut this off because now we're so much into this flash art. The breakdown is just as important. And your physical actions that you do are actually American yoga. Okay? The concept of American yoga. Okay. So here we are. We're in another place. Okay. And we're just going to go to another place. From here, we're going to go to another place. Now, the part of me taking this tape and putting it in and putting it somewhere else, that's the American yoga part. You don't have to worry about that. But now we're just worrying about the time. This is another time. Okay? So time is the place in this time and space. Space is the whole picture, is the space that I utilize. So there's places, all the places equal the space, okay? All these spaces, all the places equal the space. And each individual space is the time. See if we get that. So now I'm playing this rest of the video that I'm doing. I may talk, I may not if I come up with something good. But now I'm showing you how I'm going from place to place, which is time to time, and moving and okay, going from place to place. So I'm actually going, this is going from one place, so this is time, okay? And then I'm going to another place. So I'm going from place to place. This is a place. And each place is a conceptual time, okay? So place equals time in this next art, okay? Okay. So here's another place. And each place is different. And all of the places take up our space, are called space. Everything, every one of these spaces, every one of these places together is the space that I utilize, okay? So, individual pieces of space is a place, okay? So I'm going to another place, an individual piece of space of the plane. See, now I'm getting better to where, because this form of flash art is being conceived or created, now I can utilize certain points in my mind. Before I couldn't because it took too much time, or I didn't really have a concrete concept of flash art. Now I am. So here's another place. And you see, I'm working this whole place. I'm going to another place. I'm going to another place. I'm going to another place. The only hardest thing that you may have, if you're not familiar with American yoga, is the fact that the things that you do, the American yoga is being able to do this constantly. I mean, if you follow the tape, you understand what I mean by that. So that's something separate, but it's given me the ability to do this space, this place to place. But this is going to be time. This is actually time. This is a time, and this is a time. So this is going to be called the time. Different places is time. I'm going to a different place. 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 Everything you do to actually do what you do is American yoga. That's another thing. So now I'm just talking about the art, which I'm saying I'm going to a different place. 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 And these are all points of time. Going to a different place. 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 And in this place, it's pretty hard for me to do this because is giving me problems. So I'm in this place and it's taking time. So I gotta add that. I'm in this place, which is time. So I'm trying to convert place into time, okay? So I can kind of give you more of a concrete concept. But I'm in a place, okay? Now in this place, it takes time. This is something that you're not going to see. So I'm still going to call this a place. I'm still going to call this time, but this is a place. A part of a place, which is a part of space. I'm going to another place. I'm going to another space. I'm going to another place, a part of space. I'm going to, this takes time, okay? So it's like if you're in a place and you're in that same place, you take time, okay? So I'm kind of forming what I want to be as time, okay? So now you see I'm in another place and I'm taking time. I'm in another place and I'm taking time. Because I'm staying in this one space, one piece of space. And here's another place and I'm taking time. I'm going to this space, which is a little bit more difficult because it's up. And I'm taking time. I hope I could do them all because I was standing on something to get this. And I want to make them all done. I'm in another time. And I'm taking time in that space. Now the difference in being able to do what I'm doing, which is taking a tape off, has to do with American yoga. Okay? Because it's what I'm doing is different for each place. But I'm in this time, I'm in this place, and I'm taking time. I'm in this place, and I'm taking time. I'm still in this place, and I'm taking time. I'm in this place, and I'm taking time. I'm still in the same place, and I'm taking time. I'm in another place, oh, thank God. And I'm taking time. That's a little bit, oh no. Time. I'm in this place. And I'm taking time. I'm in this place. And I'm taking time. Okay. Now, okay, there we go. So now, I went through all the space. I went through the whole, I utilized, I used this whole space. And I went through all these places, which is parts of spaces, and I pretty much took time to take something off of each place. Oh, this wall, I'm going to have to redo the wall. So now, I'm going to this is still a place. Okay? This is a place. It's a different kind of place because the way it covers a certain amount of space, which makes it a different kind of place. I hope you're following me. So here we go. We're pulling this place off. And this place has a very much different structure from the other places that we dealt with. And that's it. So, that's it for, we took all, we took all the places, but now we got to go another concept. You don't see anything there, but there's a space there, and I divided it by using pieces of tape to specify different places of the space that I wanted to utilize. And this tape that took up different places was parts of time, because in each place I was able to do something, something like I was doing to all the other places that I had. And every time I went to a place, it took time. So we know that time, we said that we have space, so I explained to you visually everything that's going to be on the article or on the flash art is going to be called space. It's going to be called space, It's going to not be called space, but it exposes space of the plane, of a plane, which this is a plane, and you can see this is the plane itself without nothing, and there's nothing there, but I want to expose the plane, So when I put the tape, I'm exposing, when I put all the tapes, or whatever I put, it's going to expose this plane that I'm working on. And every section of the plane is called a place, Now, where does the time come? Whatever I do in a specific place is going to be the time, So that's it for now. And next time you see this time and space, it's going to be time and space, and I'm just going to show it, and I'll show you. I just do I go through the video of not really saying anything, but just showing you what time and space. The Animar 116 time and space. Thank you very much. See you later. Bye.